Hello class, welcome back to music class. Today we will be beginning a new unit. That unit is tempo. Here is today's agenda. We have 3 I can statements. I can define tempo, I can differentiate between fast and slow tempi, I can interpret the composer's intent based on the tempo of music. Here is the homework. You can pause the video and write it down. We will also be meeting a new composer and listening to some of his music. What is tempo? Tempo is the speed at which a passage of music is played. Tempo can be marked with numbers, with words, or both. There are different words we use, usually in Italian, to describe fast, slow, and medium tempi. Fun fact, tempo means time in Italian. How is tempo measured? Tempo is measured in beats per minute, or BPM. 60 BPM is equal to 1 beat per second. When a tempo is written as a number, that is called a metronome marking. A metronome is a tool musicians use to keep time so they play at the right tempo. What does tempo look like? On the left, we see tempo written as a number, or metronome marking. This marking says quarter note equals 105. That means there are 105 beats per minute. You can turn a metronome to 105 to see what that sounds like. On the right, we see tempo written as a word. This word says adagio, which means slow, but there are dozens of other Italian words used to describe tempo. Here are 5 tempo markings I want you to remember, so pause the video and write them down if you need to. Largo means very slow. When I think of largo, I think of a turtle. Andante means walking pace. When I think of andante, I think of a gentle stroll. Moderato means moderate pace. It's a little faster than andante, but not hurried. Allegro means fast. When I think of allegro, I think of someone running. Presto means very fast. When I think of presto, I think of a shark or a cheetah. Now it's time to meet a new composer. This is Camille Saint-Saëns. He was a French composer during the Romantic era. If you remember from earlier in the year, the Romantic era was from the mid-1800s to the early 1900s. This is my favorite era of music. Some other composers who were around during this time were Brahms, Tchaikovsky, and Dvorak. Saint-Saëns was a composer and conductor, but he also played organ and piano, just like many other composers we've learned about. Some of his most famous works are The Carnival of the Animals and Danse Macabre. My favorite piece that Camille Saint-Saëns ever wrote was his Sonata for Bassoon and Piano. Extra credit for whoever listens to it. Now, to listen to Movement 3 from Carnival of the Animals. While you are listening, think of some words you would use to describe the music. Great! Here are some words I came up with. Fast, loud, chaos, running, messy, presto. This movement is about wild donkeys, so Saint-Saëns uses a fast tempo to depict the herd of donkeys running around. Now we are going to listen to movement 5 from Carnival of the Animals. Again, think of some words you would use to describe the music. words I came up with are slow, happy, waltz, lumbering, low-pitched, and andante. This movement is about an elephant, and Saint-Saëns uses a slow tempo to depict the elephant walking heavily. Does tempo have to stay the same? Absolutely not. Words like accelerando or rallentando may appear in music, and they mean to gradually speed up or gradually slow down. Now we are going to listen to movement 11 from Carnival of the Animals. Listen for how the music speeds up. This movement is about a piano player who works at the carnival. Your homework for today is to describe the tempo of your favorite song. I've given you some questions to think about while you're doing so. There is also a Google form on Icon about today's lesson that I'd like you to fill out. Stay safe and happy practicing!